Hello, 7th grade. It's Fry. Yay! What a wonderful way to end our week with another chance to get better through ELT. Okay, so for ELT today, in store for you is a warm-up of simplifying fractions and then practice solving and writing proportions. So, for 1 through 5, you're simplifying fractions. Some of you might, be scared because these fractions, the numerators and denominators are quite large. So I'm going to show you a trick, and that trick is if both parts of your fraction end in 0, well, anything that ends in 0 can be divided by 10. So 120 divided by 10 is 12. 280 divided by 10 is 28. It's like I just took off these zeros. Now you have to be careful because 12 over 28, well, it's still not, this fraction isn't done being simplified. So then I think, what factor do 12 and 28 have in common? The factor that comes to mind is 4. I can divide a 4 into 12, I can divide a 4 into 28. When I do that, I get 3/7. Now I can safely say this fraction is in simplest form because 1 times 3 equals 3, and I can't multiply any other two numbers and make them get 3, and nothing times 3 gives me 7. So they don't have anything in common. So that's an example of how you could simplify the fractions 2, 3, and 4. Number 5 is a little bit tricky. For number 5, I suggest using a common factor that is 12. To start. Okay, now for 6 and 7 and for some of the rest, you have to solve a proportion. Solving a proportion, we follow 3 main steps. Cross multiply, set cross products equal, and then divide. So when I look at this proportion, I'm going to cross multiply. 8 times n is 8n. 3 times 11 is 33. I'm going to set my 2 cross products equal. Because I know if these 2 fractions are really equivalent, whatever I get over here has to be the same as what I get over here. And then I'm just going to divide. 8 divided by 8 becomes 1, so I'm left with n like I wanted, and then I just do 33 divided by 8. 8 goes into 33 4 times. And then n equals 4 and 1/8. Okay, this next one seems a little bit trickier because there's this negative. Whenever there's a negative out in front of the whole fraction, you could either put it with the 7, the numerator, or you could put it with the denominator. So I'm just going to put it up with the 7, and then I'm just going to cross multiply, remembering that my 7's negative. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. 10 times 5 is 50. I'm going to set my cross products equal, and then I'm going to divide. If you're saying, hey, this looks like algebra I've done with Miss Peacheroni and Miss Hood, absolutely right. A proportion is a type of equation. So that's why we're solving it like this. X equals, and then we're just going to divide again. 7 goes into 50 7 times. Okay, 1, I get 7 and 1/7, but it's negative because I had a positive divided by a negative. There we go. Okay, for the next part, you're going to actually prove whether or not your ratios form a proportion. All you have to do is cross multiply. 24, 18. Are these cross products equal? No. So it's not a proportion. When I look at this one though, 2 times 16 is 32. Oh, 4 times 8 is 32. When my cross products are equal, it is a proportion. Okay, the last thing we have to do is you have some word problems. So, for these word problems, we're going to solve them setting up proportions. Most important thing is to figure out what two things are being compared. That's how we're going to label our proportion. So this says a painting is 1 5/10 inches tall and 1 2/10 inches wide. If it is enlarged, getting bigger, if it's enlarged to a width of 7 2/10 inches, then how tall would it be? So in this proportion, we're comparing two things. We're comparing the height, how tall each painting is, to the width. So in my first painting, my height is 1 5/10 inches. My width is 1 2/10 inches. And then for my second painting, I don't know the height, I just know the width. And then same thing, you cross multiply and divide like we just did to get your answer. Okay, for this, I'll do one more with you, then I'm going to let you get to it. So this is talking about the currency in Bolivia is the Boliviano. The exchange rate is approximately 8 Bolivianos to $4. At this rate, how many dollars would you get if you exchanged 31 4/10 Bolivianos? So I'm comparing the Bolivianos to dollars. I know that if I have 8 Bolivianos, that's $4. So I want to know how many dollars I get. I'm just going to put an X if I have 31 4/10 Bolivianos. And then you just cross multiply and divide like we've already been doing to get your answer. Okay, that is it for the video overview today. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. See you soon.